Hey guys, we're roasting now. We were drowning and floating in a boat in Pennsylvania for the last 2 months, and now we are being baked like fried chicken, gone in the oven. Gotta love PA, don't ya? It's one of a kind. So, one thing I keep thinking about, I don't know if anybody else has this, but sometimes it gets you in trouble. When you've been through a lot of a narcissistic abuse, sometimes it's hard to show emotion and be excited over something. It's something I really have to work on. I grew up very narcissistic family. Um, it was, I'll give you something to cry about. There's never a reason for tears. You're being dramatic. There was never an opportunity for you to show your emotions. They were squashed. And after a certain point, if you even showed happiness, that was something that could be taken from you as a punishment. And I've noticed sometimes it gets me in trouble. And even this last incident, when those guys testified against me, I never saw either one of them. The guy that I did go out and catch putting the child in the truck, and that was never yelling, because we had agency personnel here, said, well, she didn't show any emotion. People, do you understand if somebody has been severely abused over and over, manipulated? Do you understand sometimes you don't show emotion? And it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's from the abuse. I listened to my sister and my daughter yell at me because I wasn't holding my mother's hand when she died. And okay, she was on hospice for several weeks. I made sure her bedding was clean. I made sure that everybody was being fed in that house. I made sure that there was food. That right there was a full-time job and keeping her comfortable. That was showing love. But you can't force somebody to be something they're not. They got mad at me because I wouldn't tell her that she was the best mother in the world. Okay, as a granddaughter, you got everything you wanted. Cars, anything you wanted, you got. You were the golden child. So I guess for the two of you, she was the best grandmother in the world. She was the best mother. But you see, I had a different experience with her. And I have to wonder if sometimes this generational thing of people being estranged didn't come from, with the parental alienation, we grow up, we date what's comfortable, we marry what's comfortable. And I married exactly who my dad was, my parents were. God forbid if they would have got divorced. I can't imagine with both of them being so narcissistic what would have happened. But in the course of doing that, now we show very little emotion. We don't know that things are not normal. And if you're the scapegoat child, you aren't going to catch that not only is your husband putting you down to the children, but you've got a family member also doing it, or two family members. In my case, it was two that was even documented by mobile therapists that came into the house that my dad needed to stop. That there was no reason to criticize every move somebody made. The table wasn't clean enough. The floor wasn't clean enough. When are you going to get this done? When are you going to get that done? What do you mean you don't have money for this? I mean, it was just nonstop. They would come out every night and nonstop criticism in front of my children. So that narcissism and that insecurity where your children think that you are this horrible person, everything you do is wrong, has been not just reinforced by your partner, but you've married the partner that reminded you of your family, and now they are in that same category of, I see now where my mother was so jealous she always had to outdo me, And one thing that I didn't realize, I'm working all these hours. I'm trying so hard to put food on the table, make ends meet, doing what I need to. But later I realized she's taking credit and telling everybody she's giving me money, she's doing this, she's doing that, and she wasn't. But she was basically telling the kids, well, your mom wouldn't have this if it wasn't for me. I'm taking care of this when I was the one working that hard to put food on the table. So I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but it's something that I now see. When this whole thing went down and I was told that the intent was to have my daughter removed from me, and I realized I was set up really big time, I finally had enough, and I'm considered crazy to my family. My sister's daughter's getting married, but I sent a message, don't invite me to the wedding. I am blocking you. I have tried as a sister to have a relationship with you, but there is this jealousy that anytime I was ever getting ahead, anytime at all, there was a jealousy that I wasn't allowed to get ahead, and it was going to be squashed, whatever she had to do. You know, she's very much that she doesn't take responsibility. I very clearly saw my mother failing with Alzheimer's. I took after having surgery and moved my mother the whole time I was on leave with a 2-year-old I would have loved to have had more time with. Instead of moving my mom in with me, the first day back at work, she sends her husband and 2 of his guys down that my mother paid them to move all her stuff to Altoona. Yeah. And then they left her alone all day. My mother was not in any physical shape to be left alone all day. Yeah, I did call Area of Aging because I was concerned. Bear come up to the property. Her cell phone had no service. You have to pay for long distance phone calls with the plan that they had. And secondly, she didn't know anybody's number to call from up there. So she was completely alienated all day with the beginning of Alzheimer's. When Area Aging knocked, my sister was irate with me because, well, if they would have caught she was by herself, I would have lost my nursing license. Then why did you move her up and let her alone? We had it covered at my house that there was always somebody there. Comments like, only trash lives in trailer parks. No, honey, I have a lot of respect for people in trailer parks. They're living within their means. And a lot of them have a spotless place. Trailers are very nicely made nowadays. Why would you even say that comment to her? Because it made her feel like my house wasn't good enough. It was a 4-bedroom double wide, but it wasn't good enough. You know, she didn't even, as a registered nurse, a mental health professional, did not even realize going in a nursing home is not free. They take everything you have. And if you only have $300,000-400,000 in the bank to start with, that's only going to pay for so many months. And then you have really little control because there's only so many medical beds, medical assistance beds for what's considered an invalid. And most of the counties have sold their nursing homes. She honestly thought she could put her in the best nursing home there was at no cost and still keep the money in the bank. No. And with Alzheimer's, the way she handed out money, the way she spent money, and the way she had repairs done in her house, just constantly paying somebody to redo this, redo that, it was company for her. She blew through her money. There were times we were adding to her prescriptions. And then when I did foster care, she actually put in, after we went to the one wedding, she made calls trying to turn me in for HIPAA, but everybody knew we did foster care. Everybody knew I didn't carry those 5 kids. Because it was family there. Duh, you don't have to say that they're foster kids, but she tried to get me on a HIPAA violation. So, you know, she's teamed up with my ex, and she's contacted my second husband trying to cause issues. And who needs that in their life? When something has happened, that you've been put on a registry for something that didn't happen, and you get told later that the intent was to remove my daughter. I don't think I'm the abusive one. What do you think?